As I'm sitting here behind my desk, I'm going to break down how anxiety negatively controlled my life a couple of years ago in the worst way possible. Even though I was working hard for myself to build a life that I loved, I just seemed to not be able to enjoy it. My relationships went to shit. I didn't even have a real connection with my family because I felt like I was living in third person. And family is the most important thing to me, so that sucked. I didn't have real happiness. I couldn't even really travel because I was scared to leave my house because that's how bad my anxiety got. And the point being is, why live a life of working so hard for yourself if the end goal is to be happy and have freedom, but you can't even enjoy that because your anxiety is taking over? So I really want you to pay attention to this video. I'm gonna break it down in the most real and authentic way. I don't like to have any flashy edits. I just like to have me speaking from my heart so I can help you, yes, you behind the screen. So really take out a piece of paper and a pen, write this down, take some notes, implement the information, and you will fully change your life because I'm about to pick your brain and shift every single belief that you have about anxiety. First, I want you to understand that every single person in this world actually experiences negative thoughts or anxiety, if you want to call it that. But the people who experience it worse are the ones who frame it. You know, maybe you had anxiety first pop up in your life because something happened and anxiety was just a byproduct for something. Maybe you went through a breakup or a hard time, or maybe you're really stressed out because you're working too much. So you had anxiety, you had negative thoughts pop up. And you have never felt like that before. So you start questioning yourself. And then maybe for some reassurance, you go on TikTok or go on ChatGPT to look up, why do I feel a certain way? Why do I have negative thoughts? Why do I feel like I'm living life in third person? Whatever it is, you look up the symptom to get reassurance. But what you don't understand is that's actually subconsciously making these symptoms part of your identity because that's your main focus. Because in life, whatever you focus on becomes your reality. You know, think of it. If your biggest problem in life is being out of shape, you're normally gonna wake up and check the weight scale right away. If your biggest problem in life is that you're broke, you're gonna wake up and check your bank account right away. So if you're already someone who identifies with anxiety, you're gonna wake up and check for your symptoms. Oh, do I feel like I'm living life in third person? Oh, do I have negative thoughts right away? But you don't understand that you're the one who chose to do that. Just because you chose to frame derealization, anxiety as a threat, as a bad thing, and not a signal. Because anxiety and derealization is always just a signal. And I want to be living proof. I live my dream life now, when a couple of years ago, again, I was scared to leave my house because anxiety got so bad. It's always a signal. But if you frame it as a bad thing, it's going to be a bad thing. Your subconscious mind always finds proof for what you frame. It's just like if you're going through a hard time. You know, if you're going through a hard time and you always wake up and you say to yourself, my life sucks. I just hate my life. You know, it sucks, it sucks, it sucks. Your brain is going to find proof of that. And your perspective on this life is always going to look at the bad things. And that's going to reinforce the belief of your life being bad. And then you're not going to feel good. And then when you don't feel good, you don't do really good things. And guess what? Those not good things compound into a shit reality. And then you're probably going to blame your circumstances for why you're still stuck when you don't understand that you created everything. But if you frame the hard times as learning lessons, because it always is, your subconscious mind will find proof for why what you're going through you can learn from. And then you're gonna learn more good information based off of you finding proof and evidence for why what you're going through you can actually learn from. And then you're gonna feel better about your life because your perspective changed. And then when you feel better about your life, guess what? It's the same thing, but flipped. You start to do better things instead of doing bad things because you feel a shitty way about your life. And those better things compound into a better reality. And that's how you change. So just understand that everyone experiences negative thoughts, but you're probably the one who's so focused on it. I want to be fully transparent. I run my own business. Yes, I'm always going to be open and honest because this is my passion. Helping men get over anxiety who are ambitious and know they are meant for more. But besides the point, in my coaching program, whenever someone joins, I tell them to stop identifying anxiety as a bad thing. And even just then, right when we do that, it's a full game changer. Because then my clients live their life and then they, implement non-negotiables and a lot of other stuff that I could talk about, but I don't want to, into their life based off of my information in my program. But they're living their life without framing anxiety as a bad thing. That's the difference, because we reframed how we saw something, so our subconscious mind is already healing. And once you understand that, you can implement that same exact protocol for reframing how you see anxiety and this derealization that you're going through as a signal. Maybe you think that you feel unconfident because of your anxiety, or you're unhappy because of this anxiety. But maybe this anxiety is a signal for you to actually find out why you're unhappy or why you're unconfident. Maybe you just need more proof. You think that your confidence is low because of your anxiety, but your anxiety is actually there because your confidence is low. So what do we have to do? What did the anxiety signal tell us? We need more confidence. When you just analyze your life and you look at what you have to work on because your anxiety is there for a reason, then you could do that deep inner work externally and internally to rewrite your identity to gain more confidence. And when you gain more confidence, you break the loop of anxiety. That right there will help you a lot as well. You also got to stop giving all your power to your anxiety and stop avoiding the things that you know you have to do to become the man that you're meant to become, but you're not doing the things that you're meant to do because your anxiety gets in the way. You see, if every single time, let's just give an example. If you're super scared of flying, I used to be super scared of flying because of my anxiety and my derealization in the past got so bad. Every single time when I went to fly, sometimes I wouldn't want to go on trips because of my anxiety with flying. So I just reinforced my identity of I'm not going to fly. And I literally was just saying to myself subconsciously that my anxiety has more control of my life than actually me myself. So you could break it down as well. Let's say if you have an example of you're so scared to start working out again because you always felt derealized at the gym and you're just, scared and you have panic attacks at the gym. Instead of trying to have a perfect workout to just break the loop of working out so your anxiety is not in control, maybe that's a little unrealistic, so you can dumb it down. Maybe tell yourself you're gonna go on a walk for 10 minutes because that's still in the subject of working out, but it's something small that you can stick to because your brain doesn't see the smaller action items as such a threat at first. So maybe you could break the cycle with having anxiety. Again, I'll break it down. If you have anxiety stopping you from working out, and that's what you've always had for your identity, your anxiety has more control over your life than you, so you're not going to do the stuff that you know you have to do. Maybe dumb it down. Instead of telling yourself you're going to have a perfect workout, and then that makes your brain overwhelmed, and then you don't want to have this workout, and anxiety takes over, and you don't do anything, dumb it down. Go on a 10-minute walk. That's still in the subject of working out. Because when you stick to something, a non-negotiable, and you implement actions in your life that break the loop of your anxiety having more control of your life than you, then you can finally gain more control over your anxiety. So stop framing anxiety as a bad thing and learn to consciously rewrite your mind by implementing bulletproof habits to build back proof and confidence so your anxiety has less control over your life than you. It's not about being perfect, overcoming anxiety. It's about understanding that anxiety is always going to be there sometimes. I still have anxiety. I moved across the country alone when, again, I was scared to leave my house, but sometimes I have anxiety. I'm like, wow, I live alone, 3,000 miles away from my parents, but that's okay because anxiety is normal. I just don't frame it as a threat. I frame it as a signal. I frame these negative thoughts as subconscious signals that shouldn't even get my attention because why does it matter? The only reality that you're living in right now is now. Presence is key, and that's something that will really help you as well. Also, maybe anxiety was the best thing that ever happened to you. I've had clients come in my program and they come to me and they're like, I want to be who I was before anxiety was controlling my life. I say, fuck that. We're going to become a better person because anxiety actually just teaches our brain information based off of you framing it as signals so we can learn this information and align ourselves in life with the person that we're meant to become and the life that we're meant to live. So our life is actually better than before because we've learned so much from this anxiety. So just frame it as that as well. Anxiety is the best thing to fucking happen to you. And when you start saying that to yourself, again, your thoughts turn into how you feel, and how you feel turns into what you do, and what your subconscious mind finds proof for. So if you say anxiety was the best thing to fucking happen to me, guess what? It will be, because your brain is going to find proof of that. And you're gonna learn so much about yourself. You're gonna understand why you're not happy because your anxiety is taking over. Why you can't build relationships, whatever the symptoms are, your anxiety is there because you're missing something in your life. So when you just do that work, you implement non-negotiables, you rewire your mind, you reframe how you see everything in your life so your subconscious mind rewires itself on its own, plus a lot of other stuff that I probably, didn't mention in this video before because I have so much information about anxiety. It's hard to sometimes put it in one video, and I don't want to be perfect. I'm not trying to just be perfect, because I'd be really stressed if I tried to implement every single piece of information. But no, I'm just speaking from the heart. But if you do all of that, you'll see anxiety as the best thing that has ever happened to you. And if you're watching this and you know that you want to create a routine for yourself, you want to start adding some non-negotiables so you can build back proof and evidence, you want to start rewiring your mind, but you feel like it's just not time yet, understand that the only way to have a perfect plan is to have an imperfect plan and perfect it. You make it perfect by just taking action and learning. That's the game of life. Sometimes you're never going to feel ready. I didn't feel ready making this video right now because maybe I'm stuttering. Maybe I'm worried about that, but fuck it. I'm speaking from the heart. I'm doing my thing. I want to show you guys that I want to be the most real and authentic person that I can. Because I wish back then when I was dealing with derealization and anxiety, even though I was trying to work hard for myself, I want to be the inspiration for you. Because back then I wish I had someone like me right now. And I know that this is like my purpose. God gave me this purpose. So I always want to be real. And then when your recovery gets better and you start to actually implement a bulletproof routine in your life, that your symptoms are not the first thing that you're checking in the morning because they're not the most important. That you actually feel a little better. That you understand that every single thought that crosses your mind that's negative, you think of it as a car on a highway. It just passes by you. Car on a highway just goes right by you. It doesn't matter. It doesn't need much attention at all. Once you can understand that your symptoms are getting better, that's when you've reached your highest self. And that's when you could actually live the life that you know you're meant to live, because you may be working so hard for yourself in your career. You're an entrepreneur, you work for yourself, you want to build a life of freedom, you want to provide for your family, you want to travel, but you just feel like anxiety was holding you back. Once you understand some of that stuff, that it's a signal, and every thought that you specifically choose to give power to dictates how you feel and builds your emotional state. And how you feel and how your emotions are influence what you do, and what you do compounds into your reality. That's when you understand that you're the pilot. You're the pilot for if you give your negative thoughts power or not. And once you understand that, it's literally so powerful. Reframing my anxiety, understanding that the thoughts that I give power to are how I interpret my life, and a lot of other stuff. But those two mainly were the first starting point to me changing my life and reframing my perspective. So 3, I kind of said that about anxiety, reframing how you see anxiety, but just perspective in your life overall, because you could start improving with anxiety, but your perspective could still be bad on life, and then you start to play the victim, and then you see your life as shit, so then you do shittier things, and then, no, we're gonna break that cycle. Always have a forward mindset. Every single thing in your life you can learn from, every single hard time, every single negative thought, every single thing is happening for you. It's happening for you. It's not happening to you, it's happening for you. That right there is a reframe as well. Every single thing you can learn from, it's happening for you. And I'm living proof. Again, if you guys don't believe me, what is this guy talking about? Some manifestation shit? Some delusional, conspiracy theory thing? No, I'm living proof. Everything's happened to me for a reason. Again, I was depressed and anxious back when I was working a job. Back when I was, in high school a couple of years ago, I felt completely derealized to the point where I couldn't even hold up a piece of paper and a pen because my anxiety got so bad. I couldn't learn any information in school. And I remember sitting there in a classroom like, what the fuck is the point? What's the point of learning this information if we're not understanding the neuroscience and the psychology and the way our mind works in this world? And why do some people out there live in third person? Like, why do I feel like this? And then again, what I did was I looked it up. Why do I feel like this? What are these symptoms? And it became the main focus in my life. And then that fucks it up when it's the main focus. So, speaking from the heart, I want you to take this information. I want you to implement it. I hope you learned something. There's probably something I'm missing. But again, I'm not trying to be perfect. I'm always just going to speak from my mind. If I feel like something's missing, guess what? I'm going to make another video because I always want to provide the most valuable information I can. I don't have a mic. I don't have perfect lighting right now. I'm speaking from the heart. I don't like flashy edits. We're getting so, overtaken by AI, flashy edits, fake this, but nothing can fake real human connection and a purpose that someone has. Back when I was anxious and depressed a couple of years ago, knowing that this is what I'm meant to do. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I also do offer coaching. So if you want to have a personal call with me to further talk about coaching, to fully help you overcome your anxiety and change your life, DM me on Instagram, Curran_Pardo. I'm going to link it in the description of this video. But yeah, I'll personally respond. I respond to all my DMs. And again, subscribe for more. I'm going to start holding myself accountable to posting a lot more YouTube videos because I like just sitting here and being raw and authentic. Because I'm super authentic like with my Instagram reels and posting that. But sometimes I just like to speak for a lot longer. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Remember, anxiety is only something bad if you frame it to be something bad. You can learn from everything. Everything happens for a reason. And you behind the screen, I know you got this. I know you're meant to live a life of freedom and peace, even though you work hard for yourself. So go get after it, implement this information, and change your life because anxiety sucks. Let's go.